Hi again and welcome back. Now if you've been watching me for a long while, you'll know I'm a lover of vintage containers and charity shop finds. But this week I've got a brand new container. It's from Amazon and it's taken the internet a little bit by storm. I haven't opened it yet, so you can join in the unboxing. Now it's a Perspex rectangular box that's got little holes on the top. We'll just get the packaging off and then I can show you properly. So it's a base that's been made or designed for environmentally friendly flower arranging. So instead of using any chicken wire or floral foam, you use these little holes to hold your flowers. And this section slides back and forth, so when you want to wash it or adapt it and change it, then you can slide this in and out. And what I will do is I'll link this in the description box right at the very end. So if you should decide that you want to buy one, then you'll be able to follow the link. Now before I decided to unbox it in front of you, I probably should have removed the label, but I wanted you to join in the fun and the excitement of me opening a new product. So all it needs now is some fresh clean water. If you've got flower food, then add the flower food in here as well. And I'm going to use this to make a sort of low down table arrangement. You will have seen the flowers before because I used them in the pumpkin design, and I'll just link that on the top here if you haven't already seen that video. But it's a great one for small flowers, garden flowers, supermarket flowers. You might have already created a design, and as it starts to fade and some of the flowers start to die off, you can cut them short and reuse them in a container like this. So it's also handy that you can slide off the lid for cleaning. But what I'm going to do first of all is just pour a small amount of water. Now you probably need to have at least 2/3 of the container filled with water so that you know the stems are going to reach the bottom. And there are 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, there's 12 holes. So you will need at least 12 flowers to go in each hole, but I've probably got enough to make a bigger massed sort of design. My flowers are already cut short because they've been used beforehand. Oh, I'm all tangled up here. So I thought they would be great to fit in these little holes, and really all I'm going to do is rest them on the top just like that. Now I have quite a few of the orange roses, so what I'm going to start by doing is just fairly evenly distributing the colour. And you can see that if your flowers are too long, they don't sit comfortably in the container. What you could do this time of the year is use your garden hydrangeas, because they would make a lovely mass design there on the bottom. But I'm going to start by fairly evenly balancing out the orange colour, and it's really because I've got more of the orange rose than anything else. And I'm better off getting this in to start the shape than trying to squeeze them in right at the very end. Now I've got another 3 of the orange roses left, which means I've got a rose in every hole. I hadn't really calculated how many roses I had, and what I'm trying to do is just angle them in slightly different directions. Oh no, I told a lie, I haven't quite got enough, I've got one short. But what I do have is this amazing deep red rose, almost like velvet if you see it up close. And I'm just gonna keep popping them in until I can't get any more flowers into the box. What I don't want it to do is to create these 2 very solid lines of the orange rose, but what I need to avoid is having 3 of these in a line because it looks too formal and too patterned. So what I'm going to have to do is separate them off with another flower and a different colour. So if any of the flowers are sliding to one side like this one here, it's okay, because when we add more varieties we can help support them and jiggle them around a little bit in the gap. So what I'm going to do here is add a cerise coloured Gerbera. Because there's a bit of support from the roses at the bottom, I don't think that one's going to quite reach the water, that's a bit too short. Because I've got the roses already in place, they're almost going to hold and support any of the other flowers that I pop in. And what I'm again trying to do is just evenly balance off the darker pink of the Gerbera, and I'm going to keep working until all of the gaps are filled. Now I only have one Hypericum and I don't want it right in the middle of the arrangement because it's going to make it look too formal. So I've slightly offset it to one side, and then my remaining flowers are all quite large, so I've got to now try and get these in so that they don't look too out of place with everything else. I've got 2 of the Protea and then 2 of these lovely chrysanthemums, and feeding them really simply into these little holes that are in the tray is really quite easy to do. So I'm aiming to have them angled at slightly different positions. We've got quite a big flower on what's the left hand side as you're looking at it. So I'm going to bring one of those more heavier looking flowers onto the opposite side. And what's great about this is because you're not using foam, if you do want to move anything and swap it into a different position, you can do so quite easily. You just need to slide it out and pop it back in again. So I'm left now with 1 Protea. I've still got that quite severe line here. So what I'm going to do is swap these 2 over, put the red in there, and then get the orange back more towards the centre, so that it ends up a little bit like a pave design. If you've learnt floristry or floral design, pave is a design very similar to this. It's when you have repeated patterns and shapes within a floral design, and it's usually done with floral foam. This has created a really gorgeous, very interesting table centre with lots of beautiful colours, different shapes and different textures. And I am going to add just a very small amount of foliage. This one is Hebe. This is from the garden. I need to remember to make sure that everything below the water level is clean. There's no thorns, there's no debris, there's nothing there that's going to contaminate the water. We've got to remember that because it's perspex and it's see-through, so we really need to think about keeping that water as clean as possible. And now just a few little bits for added interest, bit of variation in texture and colour, and just to bring in a shape that's not round, because everything in here at the moment is round. So a longer, more elongated shape is going to work quite well. I've got a bit of a group on this side of roses quite close together. If I just show you those there. So just a small amount of greenery in between is going to help break that up and get rid of that solid line. So this is a lovely one for beginners. I quite often say, you know, if you've got grandchildren staying with you or young children at home, this one would be quite easy to do. We're heading now into the autumn, so you could easily pick some hydrangeas. You might have some dried grasses at home. And I'm just going to keep going with a few more pieces until all of the gaps are filled. I can't see any of the perspex through the top, although I think it will be okay to leave the perspex showing because it's quite an attractive container. I just want to make sure that I don't have too many of the same flower type squashed up alongside one another. Now I have ended up with 2 red roses on the same side, so I'm just going to swap that one and place a Gerbera in this position instead, just so that the colour is a little bit more evenly balanced and I haven't just got that red on one side. Now if you're quite adventurous, what you could do with this is buy some waterproof lights, and you could quite successfully submerge them in the water at the bottom and have a really festive arrangement for your table at Christmas. So what do we think? A fairly quick design. I'll tip it forward slightly, hoping that the water doesn't fall out. So I'll link that in the description box, and should you choose to buy one, you can pop over to Amazon and purchase it through there. It didn't take very long to get delivered, and I don't think it was too expensive. It's a great way of using up any of those short-stemmed flowers. Now don't forget to subscribe to the channel. The majority of you that watch the videos aren't already subscribed. Hit that notification bell if you want to be told every time I upload a new tutorial. Like and comment in the box below. Let me know what type of video you really like, if there's anything that you would like to see or anything you would want explained. And I look forward, as always, to seeing you for the next tutorial. So thanks for watching and goodbye for now.